All right, everybody, thanks for joining in. This episode, I think this is the first time we've actually done sort of a themed end of the school year episode, and we really kind of stepped back on our themed episodes outside of Halloween. We don't really do too many themed episodes much more, at least not like we used to. I remember the first couple of years we did like Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think we did did a My Bloody Valentine episode. Maybe we did a couple of those.
Yeah, we did a lot of themes back then.
But anyway, yeah, so this one is, we're reaching to the bottom of the barrel for this one for sure. And this comes from back in the day when there was a movie for any and every special occasion. That's what this one is all about. We're talking about 1981's Final Exam.
Yeah, it's funny because this is one that it's never been really on my radar. You know, you think of like all the other slasher flicks, you know, post-Halloween, like Happy Birthday to Me, Terror Train, you know, all these other ones that kind of like, you know, B-level horror movies basically. And Final Exam, I never really thought about that one. But however, the cover art, which, you know, they show like when you click on the Amazon picture logo or whatever, does look familiar. So it is definitely something that I saw like in the video stores back in the day. I just never got around to picking it up, or even I don't think I was ever really drawn to it.
The cover art or the box art or whatever, however you want to say it for this one, yeah, it's definitely one of those that I do remember, but at the same time, it's very kind of bland and it's not really like, oh, that looks awesome, I gotta see that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm assuming that's the same one from back in the day. So, I mean, it's just like a shadowy figure with a blade in his hand. I mean, it's not really something that jumps out at you.
Yeah, there was like a few other like post-Halloween slasher movies where they had similar covers where, like, you know, basically showing like the silhouette of a guy with an axe or a knife or whatever. Yep. Trying to think, like one of them I remember like Alone in the Dark, and you see like a guy's leg with an axe. And so there's a lot of, back in the early 80s, this was pretty prominent. You know, you go to the mom and pop video store and you look at the horror section, and they had all these slasher films, you know, that were trying to, you know, capture the success of Halloween right on those coattails.
You know, the funny thing about this movie, before we get actually into the movie itself, is when I was doing some like sort of research on it, not a lot, because we're not really known for our research on this show.
No, not so much.
But some of the reviews from back in the day, I mean, they blatantly compared it to Halloween, of course, you know. I mean, there's no getting around it. And this came out 81, so, you know, Friday the 13th as well. But this movie, not by a lot of people, but this movie by a few people was actually better received than Halloween was.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Are you sure?
No way.
Did you watch the same movie that I did?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I can guarantee you we did not watch this when we were kids.
Nope.
At your house.
Definitely did not see it.
I mean, I do not remember watching a edited for TV version of Final Exam. And
nope.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen this one before, because I am almost positive that if we would have tried to watch this as kids, we would have been like, what the hell is... Well, this is dumb. And just turned it off and never watched it again.
I definitely did not see this movie before yesterday when I watched it for this review. It was my first time seeing it. Yeah, it's kind of it's a very slow paced film, like especially for a slasher, which really surprised me. Like none of the, I mean, you get the opening scene with the kill, but after that, it's just like, you know, it turns into like an 80s, you know, high school movie or a college movie or whatever. And then like, you know, goes on forever and ever and ever and ever until finally like the last third of the film.
Yeah, when I watched it myself yesterday as well, that was one of the things I noted was, yeah, you had that first kill, which in that first kill, it's not really like overly gory, but it is kind of like brutal a little bit. I mean, it's because at first, it starts with that and you're like, damn, this might be a good movie because this couple is out, like at some makeout spot and they're in a convertible and then the girl says something like she's chilly or whatever, or spooked or whatever. So the guy like shuts the roof of this convertible, and it's like a ragtop kind of convertible car, which I think, well, I guess most of them are, but anyway, the killer jumps onto the roof of the car and like slices open the top of the car and like picks the guy up from the front seat and slams him down on the hood of the car and then like stabs him in the chest, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like an hour before the next kill. And you're like, what?
Yeah, no kidding.
And the movie's only like, I think it's only like an hour and 20 minutes or something. So
yeah, it was on the shorter side.
So yeah, you're waiting like an hour of nothing in this. And it's weird too, because this movie starts off with that very, Halloween special occasion slasher type movie feel to it. And you're like, okay, yeah, here we are. This is obviously a very early 80s slasher movie, rip off of every other slasher movie that had came out and is going to be ripped off, for the next 10 years. Yep, this is what we're going to get. And then they have this weird shootout scene.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? And then it turns out the shootout is fake. And you're like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? I have no idea because yeah, like you said, it kind of gets this weird, it goes from like, all right, this is your typical 80s slasher movie to, here we're in our typical 80s college jock comedy movie. What are we watching? It's
right.
So weird. And then I'll have to admit, I kind of got bored with the movie quite a bit. And so I really had a hard time paying attention to it. But when the movie was over, I have no idea what the hell happened in this movie. I don't have any idea who the killer was. I don't have any idea what the point of the movie was.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you said that, because I was going to ask you, like, okay, so basically we get the opening scene, the couple, this couple on Lover's Lane or whatever, they're making out in a car. The killer comes, kills them both. Then then now we're in this college, university, and we get to meet these kids, and they're talking, just kind of their day-to-day stuff. And then there's this weird scene where this van pulls up and all these guys in ski masks come out and shoot everybody, and they take the bodies with them, and then you find out, that was just some kind of a prank. And the cops are called on that, and that gets weird. And then just a bunch of weird stuff going on, more like shenanigans with the college kids, and just what's going on in the dorms. And then all of a sudden, the last third of the film, the killer's back, and he starts killing some people. And who is the killer? The guy doesn't have a mask on, so you see him the whole time. It's never really explained who he is, unless I missed something. I guess I was at PBR 3 at this point. So I was I didn't understand what's going on. I really didn't. It was a typical, slasher format where, he's killing people off, and then you get to the final girl, and then, there's the big chase scene and all that stuff. But there's never any resolve. And then all of a sudden the movie ends and you're like, what did I just watch here?
I don't know if this movie has any sort of cult following. I mean, this is one of those weird movies that you know what it kind of reminded me of, and this is kind of a bad comparison because the two of us love this movie. Not this movie, the movie I'm going to say. The movie it reminds me of. But I know at the same time, though, there are tons and tons and tons of people that are like, what the hell is going on with that movie? That movie makes absolutely no sense. And that movie is Curtains, where, like it makes no sense. but for some stupid reason, I love that movie. And so I don't know if this is one of those movies that you need to see a bunch of times to appreciate it. But I mean, it's like
I'm
it's
not
stupid.
I don't think it's going to go into the curtains category in terms of where the more you watch it, there's something about it that's going to draw you to it. Curtains, I think, there's something about that film that just, I think, drew us to it just because it has sort of that mystique or mystery about it, or how it was filmed, and there's this cult following to it. That's a whole different thing. This one was just kind of like a thrown together B movie.
Yeah, and I really wonder if there's any sort of story, not necessarily the same as Curtains, but if there's any like production story with this that could come out, and then like if you, because I mean that is one of the things with Curtains. If you actually read about the making of Curtains, then you're like, oh, that makes sense,
right?
That's why it seems like there's two different movies taking place. Got it. To whereas like if maybe somebody came out and said like, oh yeah, the producer quit, and then the director said, screw it, I'm not gonna do this anymore, and then another director came in and he didn't watch the first third of the movie that was already filmed, so he's like, all right, let's do this, and that's why you get the movie that you got. I don't know. It's just this movie makes absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah, my impression is that some producer somewhere was like, oh, Halloween's a big success. Let's do a slasher film. Let me get my brother to write it and my uncle to direct it, and we could film it at the school that my sister works at, and let's throw it all together, and that's what we got.
Yeah, because I guess that the one thing with this movie that isn't the same with a lot of the movies that were coming out at that time is the majority of the cast that's in Final Exam actually were stage actors out of LA. And so I don't know if it's one of these, like you had said, maybe it was like some guy that worked at this theater was like, let's make a slasher movie. Hey, you guys, we just got done doing Pinocchio. Let's go make the slasher movie now. Yeah, let's do it. And like just took everybody out of some other random play and went and made some slasher movie. Because that's almost what it seems like to me. The feel I got watching this was a movie made by somebody who didn't know how to make a slasher movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. It just seems like something that was thrown together by people who really didn't know what they were doing, and they were just copying the Halloween format.
That was kind of the thing when I got done watching it last night, because I was like, did I miss something? I mean, I know I was kind of like looking at Facebook, and I don't know if I was texting with you or if I was texting with somebody else a couple of times during it, and like looking at a couple of photos or whatever, and then like look back up and be like, still nothing's going on. Okay, cool. Because I remember, like, when the first, I guess it was the second kill happened, I paused the movie to look at the time, and I was like, holy shit, we're an hour into this movie, and we're finally, because at first I was like, we're an hour into this movie, and we're finally getting our first kill, and my daughter was with me, and she's like, well, there was that thing in the very beginning, remember? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we went an hour between kills. That's awesome. So are we not going to get anything else to the very end of the movie? But then I like looked at the Wikipedia page like afterwards to like see like I'm like, well, I got to look up this story of the killer to see what the hell goes on with this. And then like Wikipedia is just like doesn't say anything about it. They're just like, oh, this guy showed up and then it was over. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah, looking at the Wikipedia page too, they say that the film was actually a minor commercial success, which actually surprises me quite a bit. Like, I can't imagine this film being in a theater and like people going out and seeing this thing. It seems like more like a back at that time. Well, like in the early 80s, what was it? There wasn't a really directed video, was there at that time?
It wouldn't have been in 81, no. Because I think like back in those days, I mean, when did the VHS boom really take place? That wasn't more like the mid 80s. I mean, I know there was like VCRs and Betamax and stuff in the early 80s.
Right.
But I mean, people didn't have VCRs and stuff at their houses because, they cost, like, back in those days, they were like $1,000 or whatever.
Yeah, there's...
And back in those days, I mean, that was a shitload of money. I remember I don't know if you remember this or not, but do you remember actually getting, well, because you guys had beta first. Mm-hmm. So do you remember, like, the day, like, your dad or your mom brought that home?
The VCR itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually it was a present from my grandpa to our family. And I remember being just completely excited about it because prior to that, I remember, like, I wanted to see Jaws so bad. This is back in, before I saw Jaws, and I had to go. My grandparents lived in Chicago, and I remember my grandma renting Jaws for me, and then getting to watch it for the first time on her Beta. She had a Betamax too, and then the following week or whatever, we went back to see, and she rented Jaws 2 for me.
Oh, cool. I don't remember what grade I was in. I was probably in, like, 3rd or 4th grade, maybe 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad, I think it was my dad, brought it home.
Oh, nice!
And it was a VHS, and it was like a top loader one. And I don't remember the brand of it, but I remember my mom and dad, like, kind of, like, arguing about it after the fact because it was $400. And this was like in, this would have been like in 80, like what, 86, something like that. 85,
oh, nice.
85, yeah. 86, 80,
right.
87, somewhere around there. So, I mean, it's not like 2020, $400, which 2020, $400 is a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
1986, $400 is a shitload, a lot of money. I mean, that was, back then, I mean, that was enough to buy, a good used car.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, $400, hell, you could buy probably outfit an entire living room with furniture for $400 back in those days, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't like nowadays where it's in anymore, I mean, not to get too far off topic, but I mean, that's always one of the kind of the funny things that pisses my wife off is, TVs don't last like they used to. And so we'll buy a big screen TV and we'll pay, whatever, $600 for that TV. And then 2 years later, you're walking through Walmart and that same TV with more features is on sale for $200, and like, son of a bitch, we should have waited.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
But anyway, yeah, I remember that. I don't remember if we did anything with it. I just remember my dad bringing it home like after work, and I don't remember if it was like for my mom's birthday or something. It could have been, like, hey, here we go. Because I mean, my dad had a good job when we were kids, and he used to buy shit for my mom all the time, that like on her birthday, like, stuff that isn't like normal presents for people. Like I remember one time he bought her like a stereo. Like we had like this big ass stereo that he bought for her.
Nice. One
time he bought her a new car, which, I mean, a new car is the worst freaking present ever because you're like, here's a new car. Oh, you got to make a payment on every month. That's almost like now, during anytime during like the Christmas season and all the cell phone companies are like, yeah, get your mother a cell phone for Christmas. She'll love it. Or get her a cell phone for Mother's Day. Oh, here's Mom. Here's a cell phone for you. Yeah, you got to pay $100 a month for that. You're welcome.
Right.
So, but yeah, anyway, to get back on topic, and the reason why I was going to bring up I wanted to bring up the VCR stuff is because today, the day we're recording this, is National VCR Day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I had no idea of that. That's pretty cool.
So happy National VCR Day. By the time everybody else hears this, it'll probably be 2 months later. So I hope you guys celebrated.
Awesome. Very awesome.
So yeah.
That makes me want to go hook up the old VCR and watch a VHS tonight.
There you go. I'm going to watch maybe an old porn or something. I don't know.
Nice.
I wonder if you can find. I mean, I don't have any porn VHS, but I wonder how hard it is to find like that. Can you sell porn on eBay?
I have no idea. I had not a clue.
I remember back in the day, like sneaking my dad's porn out of the bedroom, and he'd like watch it. Oh, and you had to remember where it was at.
Yeah.
So you put it back in the same spot it was at.
That's so funny.
But anyway, back to Final Exam. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I give this one a pretty hearty thumbs down.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I was pretty bored throughout the entire thing. Nothing happens. There were no special effects. The gore was ridiculously horrible, and the killer was uninteresting. And then he ends up just being some guy that we don't have a clue who he is. So yeah, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Not even a beer and popcorn film. Yeah. What else can you say about it?